Hey, what's up, everybody? Good afternoon and
What's
welcome
going
back.
on? What's going on?
What's going
Happy
on? Happy
Saturday
Saturday, everyone. Welcome back to the Act Right Out Loud podcast. I'm
podcast.
your host, Jermaine.
What's up, y'all? It's Tanya, and we are excited
Yes, we
for
are.
another great episode pertaining to relationships and marriages.
Absolutely. And just this is the day that the Lord has made.
And we will
Rejoice
and
and
be
be
glad,
exceedingly glad. at that.
exceedingly glad.
But listen, we're just happy to be here with you guys for another great Saturday afternoon. Just
Yeah.
some time for us to chop it up and have some conversation.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Regarding
about it.
marriage and relationships.
Yeah.
Of course, today's episode is brought to you by
The one, the only
Atkins Act Right.
Atkins Act Right.
Head directly over to
Go to AtkinsActRight.com, y'all.
Check us out. Subscribe to the email list.
Yeah.
Order some merch. Order some books.
Yeah.
Those of you who are looking
Support.
for marital coaches,
Yeah,
go
we
ahead.
your people.
Yeah.
Holler at us.
Holler at us. Go ahead and do
Holler.
that free
You said holler.
Holler.
Holla,
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 holla.
holla,
Holla,
holla.
holla.
Go ahead and grab that free consultation. So what we've been watching, or what
Right.
we have watched before.
Yeah.
Man,
So today,
yeah. I'm excited. I'm ready.
y'all, how y'all August? First of all, how y'all doing in the month of
how
August?
going?
This new month of new beginnings.
New beginnings. Yeah. Drop some comments.
Yeah, what y'all
Let us
been up
know how
to?
your
Engage
month
people. How
has
y'all
been
coming
going.
along?
Yes.
Have y'all started planning for the marriage? And
Right.
not necessarily just the wedding.
Who got the ring this summer? Who caught the bouquet? You know, because a lot of weddings be in June.
Oh, yeah. You talking about like just got married?
Right.
Who was at the reception?
No, right. Well, that's not that. And then those who just got engaged.
Oh, yeah.
You know, some got engaged this summer.
Oh, because they may have caught the bouquet.
They may have.
Because you know it's a superstition.
Yeah.
If you catch the bouquet, you're next up to be married.
That's what they say.
Are you superstitious?
Not like that.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, not like that.
I think it's a false. What am I trying to say? I be losing my train of thought.
Well, I see what you're saying in terms of a false. It's a false hope almost.
False hope.
Yeah,
that's what I was. Look at you finishing my sentences.
You'll leave the wedding thinking,
"Oh, I'm about to find my husband."
And
10 years later.
I'm
sorry, y'all.
You ain't even been thinking about dating.
You ain't even been in a relationship,
man. So
what are we talking about today, baby?
Well, today.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
So, AtkinsActRight.com, right?
Yes.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Act Right Out Loud.
Yes.
Social media, Atkins Act Right, Instagram and Facebook. Check us out, y'all. Follow us. Show some love.
Yeah.
Show some love.
Yeah. Show some love when you see. Go and share some of the previous videos that's on our channel. Put them into your group text.
Yeah.
Your group me's.
Yeah.
On your social media. Social media.
Social media
feed. And check us out if you didn't get a chance to catch some of the latest episodes from the past.
Go back and check them out. Summer. If you're new here, say hi.
What's up?
Say hi.
Yeah. All of our new
gonna like it here. Yeah,
right,
you're gonna like it here.
Right. Safe space, good conversation.
Yeah.
And let's
hop into it today. Let's go for it.
All right. Today's topic is make marriage great again. Make marriage great again.
This is our political campaign.
Right. Right. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Right. Make a marriage. There you go. Don't you do it.
Okay.
Don't you do it.
Make marriage great again.
Right.
You know, a lot of conversation has been had about marriage not being so important or not being necessary in relationships. You know, some people are comfortable with cohabitating with different last names.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Some people get they get very comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, you know, they go into the whole process of common law.
Yeah.
Common law marriage, and then some people they like going through the motions of just being with an individual, and that is totally okay.
And it's weird because they think that marriage complicates things.
That's that too, and hear us good. this is not a knock against anyone who has just been in a long-term relationship.
No.
Some people make a decision that they don't necessarily want to be married or have to be married. They're good with just being in that relationship.
Yeah.
It's totally
and
fine.
we're not saying that everybody needs to be married that live together.
Right.
Just because you're cohabitating together and it's working fine for you, that does not mean that marriage is for you.
Right. And a lot of times people make the mistake assuming.
Yeah.
They make the mistake of assuming.
Yeah.
And then a lot of individuals also make the mistake of getting in. Well, I won't say it's a mistake. It's a good thing to get into the conversation if you have been in a long-term relationship, because some people, they will be together 10, 15 years, have children, and then they'll make a decision that they want to get married, and that's their prerogative.
Yeah, absolutely. These are not, so our podcast episodes, and this is, I don't know why I feel like I have to give this disclaimer, but our episodes are not about us trying to change your mind about what you're choosing to do in your life.
Right.
Our podcasts are to give you information and knowledge about if you do decide to get in the role of husband and wife. If you do decide to be married, here are some key factors that can help you along the way.
Right.
So we're not here to change your mind about marriage, because, even Jesus said it, not everybody is large enough
to be married.
For marriage.
For marriage.
Yeah.
But not even, I'll take it even a step further. We're just as pro healthy relationships as we are pro healthy marriage.
Yeah.
And so if you are in a relationship with someone, we at least want you to have a healthy relationship with that individual that you're in a relationship
absolutely
with. So when we say make marriage great again, it's, we really get into the conversation piece that you'll have two individuals who are together. They've been together. One wants to be married, and then the other person finds out that the person that they are in a relationship with really don't want to get married, doesn't want to get married, and then they give their particular reasons why, as to why they don't want to get married. And then it goes back to the point that you made, how people will sit back and say, well, marriage complicates things.
That's so weird.
How
does putting your commitment on paper complicate things?
Right. That and then, because I'm glad you said that, because there's another portion we're gonna cover as well. I don't believe that when you are in relationship with someone and everything is going good, it's almost like, how people are when they say, well, I'm not sure if I want to have kids right now because kids will complicate things. We got two of everything in the house, and now we got to have three.
Yeah, but sex don't complicate things.
Thank you. It did. Thank you.
Yeah, why is marriage on the same level as something such as a physical act?
Well, because a lot of times once sex comes into the conversation of two people in relationships, is dealing with their flesh in terms of what they want.
Right.
But why is it that most people have more hunger for sex than they do to have a healthy marriage?
Yeah.
Like sex can't be the only thing that's good.
Right. A temporary satisfaction for you would choose that over a lifetime of support, companionship,
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, so
that's part of the conversation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you feel some kind of way?
I kind of did. I kind of did, because whenever people put that "but anyway," it's like, yeah, but anyway.
No, it wasn't that type of segue. I was literally getting ready to say something else pertaining to, making. I'm not gonna fix nothing because I don't feel like I have to.
Okay. All right. Go ahead with your point.
I can't go ahead with my point now because you disrupted.
You feel like I'm offended?
Yeah, man. How am I supposed to keep the conversation if you offended?
I'm good now.
No,
it's the acknowledgement of it. You acknowledge it with the help of me. You acknowledge it.
We'll have this conversation offline.
Offline, okay.
Offline conversations.
Yeah. Okay. What was your point?
That's a topic. But let's get back on track. I'm sorry. But were you getting ready to say? No, seriously, were you getting ready to say something? Oh, okay. So what I was getting ready to say is we make marriage great again by having the conversations of what marriage is intended to be in the first place.
Okay.
It's a part of creating a family. And God wants us to continue to be fruitful and multiply.
Right.
How are we gonna do that if we don't create family?
This is true. God, we were created with community in mind.
Right. And that is a word that is important.
Right.
Especially, well, I'm saying it's important because people think that community means that as long as I got my friends and as long as I got, myself and my girl, not my wife, my girl or my man, then I'm good.
Right.
But community, and we're not saying that every married couple is supposed to have kids, because there are some couples out there that can't even have children, but they are still multiplying because they are doing the alternatives. They're adopting,
Not only are they adopting, even for those that are not adopting, they are still building community with helping other individuals. And sometimes you see couples who either they can't have children or they just decided not to have children, but they know that they still have love to give. To give. So
right. But I just want people to not discount marriage just because of what the negative things that they've seen transpire from unhealthy marriages.
Right.
So it's like they're letting that dictate if marriage is going to be for them or not, because everybody's marriage is different. Not everybody is out here cheating on their spouse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is out here, being disrespectful to their spouse.
Right.
This is something that is shaping the minds of our younger generation, because now they're thinking to themselves, I don't want that.
Right. I think, for the most part, I think this conversation in terms of making marriage great again, you really have to deal with the actual concept of marriage in terms of how people actually view marriage. Because if you're raised in a home where you didn't see marriage displayed in a healthy way, and as a child or as a teenager, you go into adulthood automatically thinking,
I don't want that.
I don't want that. If it is going to be like what I experienced
as a child,
I don't want to deal with it.
But marriage is what you make it, right?
Marriage is what you make it.
Your parents may not have made the best of their relationship,
right?
Their marriage. They may not have made the best of it, but that does not mean that you can't. That does not mean that you can't get the information that you need so that you can make marriage a great thing. It's not a lot of popular, people out there, and by popular I mean maybe celebrities or things like that make marriage look like it's great to have. And so when people see this stuff displayed on social media, on TV, they think to themselves, they fake, they front, but, because then a scandal comes out.
Right, that's true, because people are quick to place people on pedestals, which
unnecessary pedestals.
Yeah, but this is what I find very interesting. Most of excuse me, let's just take movie stars, actors and actresses. Most of the actors and actresses, even I'll put athletes as well, who are married and are very quiet regarding their personal life and regarding their marriage, we don't hear about. We just we see them show up to different events with their spouses, and then when they win awards, they of course thank their spouses. I want to thank my spouse so and so of 40 years, 25.
Yeah, you don't even realize they've been married that long.
You never know. Just like I give a prime example. Angela Bassett and Courtney B. Vance. Denzel and his wife. You know, to all three great actors have been, of course, public regarding their marriage based on how they speak of their spouses in interviews and things of that nature, versus some of this crap that we see on reality TV, where it lasts maybe for a season and you do it for clicks and just you just
like this whole Kirk and Rashida thing that displays. If I was a young 20-year-old girl and that's what was being displayed on television, my mindset would be, there's no way I'm going to get married, because I would never want to live out my life that way.
Especially on television.
On television.
Now, those who live out your life on television,
that's good. That's great for you, but this is for me. I'm talking about me.
Right. I mean,
I do not want to be on. I don't want my marital life to be on display when I'm having issues of, infidelity or, I mean, I want to be able to tell a story of how I overcame it.
Right.
But you don't have to see every detail to know that it's a horrible thing that's happening.
That's true.
And you don't have to see it verbatim to understand that we are trying to work through it.
Right. But that's that old saying of, well, they're not keeping it real.
Well, that's not about keeping it real. That's controlling the narrative of my relationship. I don't need you to make judgment because I'm deciding to stay with my husband after he cheated on me and had a baby.
Right. But I don't want your judgment. I think that is cute.
That's me telling you. I'm not going to show you that part of me because I don't want your judgment. I don't want your opinion.
Right. I'm not, and that's real. So just because my keep it real may not look like yours. Henceforth, that's the reason why this new generation of young adults, those who are getting into real relationships, you cannot weigh your relationship or your marriage based on what you see on television, what you see in movies, what you see on social media,
right?
Because that's somebody else's reality.
Right. Right. And you have to choose if marriage is important to you,
right,
or is it important to how it makes you look,
right?
Because if marriage is important to you, then you would know the things to share and the things not that you don't share.
Yes.
You would know that, this is a part of our relationship that you're not privy to.
You're right.
And you can't be mad at people for not wanting you all in their personal business like that, because whether y'all believe it or not, that stuff affects relationships. So you have to be protective of your union.
You got to be protective of it. And I'm glad you brought up union, and you mentioned something. You mentioned paperwork earlier. And I think one of the reasons why we don't see marriage as great as we would like to see it is because a lot of people don't understand contract versus covenant in terms of their union and their marriage.
Yeah.
So what we see displayed on television a lot, on social media a lot, is we see a bunch of just marriages that are based on contract and not covenant. And you want to make sure that you find yourself in a relationship and a marriage with someone, and y'all have that conversation like, I don't want this just to be a contract.
Right.
I don't want this just
to just be a piece of paper that I'm signing and I'm agreeing that for, purposes of, publicity,
right?
We're going to show up as a happy married couple.
Right.
That's why I was watching this video with Kirk Franklin. You saw it. Did I let you see it? With Kirk Franklin, and he was on there talking about how in our community, we make it seem like if you're over 30, you should be married and having kids by then. And it's making a lot of people rush into being married because they feel like their clock is running out.
Right.
I'm past 30. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. I desire to be, but I'm not yet. And so when I go home to see my family, they looking at me like, why are you still single?
Yeah.
Why are you not married? That's a lot of pressure on a person. So when a person is being pressured into something, what do? They do their best to reach the goal. When God is telling them to be still, they running toward marriage.
And everything, and I'm not, well, everything happens in God's timing. Everything, even
not the people's opinion,
right?
Not your timing, in His timing.
Not the timing of your parents. Am I gonna ever get some grandbabies or all this, that conversation?
Girl, chill out. You gonna get some grandbabies?
No, I would rather take my time because I don't want to be guilty of just signing a contract. But then when it comes down to covenant, this covenant that we take, back in the day, people would do covenant and blood oaths and all these, different things. As
we're not giving blood to be married.
We're not doing that. But it was just symbolic. It was just symbolic for them coming together with a connection that is far more deeper than what
the contract.
Yeah, than the contract. And so that's the reason why people get into marriages with like we said this before, with the mindset of, if this don't work, I'll just get a divorce. See, that's you're thinking.
If you have a plan B going into your marriage,
you're thinking from a contract state of mind.
Yeah, because I can just
right,
make sure that I understand the fine print, and if it doesn't work, I can be done with it.
Right, and you know what? When did marriage become business contracts? Like we're doing this for the betterment of the business or whatnot. It just looks good. But
you could honestly say, you could honestly ask the question, when did marriage become a necessity for a pastor?
Okay.
Did you feel that?
No. I'm
okay. You like, okay. But people think that a single pastor can't shepherd.
That's true.
And now they make it seem like if you're single, then you're going to have all the women in your church. You're only going to have women in your church, and they're going to literally be after you. But there are single pastors out there that are helping people and growing communities.
That's true. Very true.
And they get married along the way.
Right.
Or if they choose not to get married along the way, that's not a prerequisite for you to be used by God.
Well, yeah. It's not, but that's just one of those places that the traditional church they really messed up at, in terms of just pressuring pastors into, you get your church, and then if you're single, now you need to get your wife.
Right. So what do? They go rush into something that is not even for them, or someone that's not for them.
I can't think if it was in Wisdom for the Wounded or if it was in Journey, one of our books, where we really talk against don't just marry for the sake of ministry, but marry for the sake of matrimony and covenant, if you will, because you will rush yourself into something that will ultimately it could be, for some people, for some pastors, I don't know why we're going this direction. For some pastors, it was their demise.
Yeah.
In terms of their pastoral career.
Yeah.
And it's divorce came, split and all this. Had you just taken the time, this is both male and female, I don't want you to get that, pastors. If you had taken the time to really just process and date healthy and respectfully.
And what's the worst thing is, a lot of these men and women that get married too soon, they find their real wife while they're married, or their real husband while they're married.
Ouch.
And that's when infidelity comes into play.
Yes.
And then people wonder why he married his mistress. And he's been happy with his mistress.
That's a conversation. That's a whole nother.
What I'm saying? But that's the issue, that we are getting married too soon.
I totally agree.
And we're making people see marriage as a negative thing, because when we make decisions to do something without even being prepared, dysfunction.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Infidelity.
Yes.
Conflict.
Yep.
Unlimited conflict.
Right.
Divorce.
Right.
Scandal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we're doing things out of preparation.
Right.
And especially if God has not even prepared you for the spouse.
Right. Right.
And you jump into it just because your position would look that more the better.
Right.
If you were married.
Yeah, because that's and marriage can't be great. Again, tomorrow, yesterday, if at the end of the day, both of you all are at home miserable with each other. And instead of having that hard-nosed conversation, like this, we at the crossroads conversation. Because like we said, you know, we don't promote we don't promote divorce.
No, but we're not naive to it being
when something's
necessary
like,
for certain relationships to end.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So when I look at the whole contract and covenant type deal, I think when you look at it from a covenant mindset, it's like, I'm not going to just allow anything to break us apart.
Right.
You know,
it's some good work involved. It's
some good work involved in that. And I believe, I'll say we believe, because we talked about this before, sometimes things happen in the marriage that kind of makes both parties like, okay, I'm taken back by this.
Yeah.
Like, but those who have a contract mindset, it's like
they renegotiate.
When it happens, it's like, oh, this is it. This contract up.
Either they're gonna renegotiate or they're gonna end the contract.
Right. But if you're from a covenant mindset and you go through a storm within your marriage, divorce is not the first thing on your mind.
Right.
Are you hurt? Yes.
Right.
Embarrassed? Yes. Disappointed? Right. Yes.
Right. That's good.
But it's not the.
But it's not the end.
It's not the end of. It's not the end of it. This is no. Don't grant. Now, granted, there are some things that happens in marriages that they are complete non-negotiables. Like we cannot be together anymore.
Yeah.
But then there are things that happens within a marriage where sometimes I think people, those who don't understand the whole making marriage great again, and those who don't understand the contract versus the covenant, that's where they try to find the loophole. Right. So you did this. So that's my.
What can I get out of it?
Yeah, that's my way out. What can I get out of this? And you can't.
It's just not healthy, though.
Like no, it's not.
It's like, if I'm not doing it the way that the contract states that I have to do it, then you have the option to get rid of me.
Right.
And I don't like that insecurity.
Right.
I don't like that, potential support. You may get it, you may not get it. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in a relationship where I feel like I'm playing a role.
Right.
For the cameras.
Right.
I'm in a new role for my life.
Right.
Like, this is not,
right.
This is not something where I'm just, like a basketball player.
Right.
Like where you can record me while I play this game.
Right.
Marriage is not a game.
It's not a game to be played.
You can play games while you in it, but just be prepared for what happens when you know what I'm saying. But it's not a game. It should be taken more serious. It's not a game. Why you do me like that? You be cutting me off, and I be forgetting my train of thought.
But it's not a game.
It is not a game. I hate to say this, but it really is a serious matter, because it has to do with your livelihood.
It has. There's the reason why it's not a game, because there's so much connected to you
and that other person.
Yes.
Yeah. And it should be anyway.
Right, it should be, but we're speaking in regards to those with that contract mindset. Like, you're not, see, with a covenant, you count up the costs. Like, what is this going to do for my livelihood?
Right.
What is going to do if you got children? What's going to do about my children?
There are a lot of things at stake.
Right. What about the relationships that we have together? So there's a lot at stake.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people just don't count the cost of, and then they look at it from that whole contract point of view, and you can't do that.
And you got to look at marriage from the lens of your life with another person, and you have to see it as a blessing,
right?
And not a burden.
Not a burden,
because it's not a burden if it's what God intended for you and that other person.
Right.
And it's not a burden if you're doing what's best for the actual marriage, and you're not being this selfish person that's just married just because it sounds good.
Right.
You're married because you want to be married. It's a choice.
It is a choice. It is
basically. You choose to be married every day. We choose to be married to each other.
Right.
Every day. It's not just we made the decision and I said yes when he proposed.
Right.
It's I'm choosing to be married to him every day because that's what I want for my life. That's what I want for us.
Right.
But if you are not in position to choose marriage every day of your life, then take a step back.
Well,
and have a conversation with each other and yourself. Say self.
Right.
Can we do this?
Can we do this? Only thing I could think about when you was making that point was that, how some people just, and we've seen this before, they just wake up and we say, just woke up, decide you want to be married.
Let's go to the courthouse.
But I believe that, I don't believe no one just wakes up one day and just like, I don't think I want to be married no more. I think there are
steps
some things that have happened,
levels,
that's got you to that particular
to the point of I can't take it no more.
Right. And granted, and we'll be fair, some of it for some people may be more of a mental thing, because you may have a spouses when they're talking about it and they are so confused about it because they're like, everything was going fine. Did we have a share of problems? Yes, we did. But all of a sudden, and then you have the nerve to tell me that it's not me. So that's why I say the whole mental thing with some people. But people just, I don't think I want to be married anymore. That mindset right there, you can just don't even get married.
Well, so
don't do it.
Like you said, it could be mental.
I mean, yeah. And
like if you get married to someone in your late 20s, and a lot of mental health things occur within the 20s, and a couple years later, it takes a toll on a person. And to them, it's probably in their mind that maybe marriage is not for me.
That's true.
And maybe I don't need to be married. But see, the realization of that needs to be discussed. It can't be me waking up and saying, after you and I have been married for 10 years, I don't want to be married to you no more. That's true. Especially if we literally just had dinner with friends last night or, last week, and we were bragging and happy and talking about how happy we are together. And then the next week you wake up with, what? I don't want to be married to you no more.
Man, my feelings would be so hurt. And then I'd be trying to figure out
you'll be trying to figure out why. And if their answer to you is, I just don't want to be married.
That's not good, because that doesn't get the other person closure.
Well, it doesn't, but it's kind of like, what can you do?
I mean,
because a marriage is going to take two people. It's not
a marriage does take two people. But if you're bold enough and convinced enough that you don't want to be married to me anymore, the least that you could do is give me the reason why.
The least you can do.
That's the least that you can do.
So that is your expectation that they would do, but you may not always get that.
Respect me enough as a husband to be able to rebuttal that.
Well,
and give reasons.
That's true. That's what you would expect, but you may not always get it. So in that marriage, you get a divorce. And now you have the mindset of, I'm never committed myself to a person like that ever again. So now you're in position to think that marriage is a sham. It's not something that you want to be in, and you fighting against it. You know what I mean? And I can attest to that. My first marriage, it wasn't the greatest, and after that divorce, I was like, I'm never getting married again.
Well, it's, yeah.
But look at me.
Good marriage.
Good marriage, sir.
Right.
Good marriage.
Right. Good
but
marriage.
what the example from that, well, the point of that example was to say that we can't allow our life experiences to determine what we'll do in the future.
Right.
Because you don't know what's going to change that.
Right.
Like our relationship changed the way that I saw marriage.
Right.
Which is why I was able to agree to be in this with you again. Because had I stayed in my past mindset of, that ain't for me, that right there was a lot of work for nothing.
Right.
So if I would have kept that mindset, you probably would have went and married somebody that wasn't for you.
Well, thank you.
Well, because I know for a fact that I'm for you. And if I would have had that mindset, being stuck in my ways, you know what I'm saying? I would have, jilted you.
You would do what?
Jilted. Is that a word? Jilted.
Today it is.
Today it is.
You would have just left. Would have just like, dude, get out of here.
Yeah. Wow. But you would have moved on, right?
Yeah, of course.
And you would have married someone that was a place filler.
Oh, really? How would that person would have been a place filler if you gone and made the decision that?
Well, because my decision forced you to move on.
Okay.
Like if my decision was different, you and I would have been able to fix things and work toward what we have now.
Right.
But if my decision was, I don't want that, and me string you along, and then you got to a place of, I can't do this no more.
Then I would have went on
to another relationship. Yeah. You would have found a place filler.
No. See, you don't get to do that. you don't get to do that when I decide to move on, and then I just so happen to move on, and I'm happy, and I'm loving life, and I'm appreciated even more. You don't get to call this person a place
okay,
filler.
so you think that? So you think? So you think that there's more than one soulmate?
We're not doing it.
We're not doing it.
No,
okay.
We're not
well, do you think that there's more than one person that God has prepared for you to be married to?
I think that there is a distinct person that God has for everyone in terms of marriage. I think that what distorts that is free will.
Which is what I was exercising by deciding that I would not want to be married.
Yeah, that's your free will.
Yeah.
Right. So that means that because God is not going to, he is not a person that wants someone to stay in something that is unhealthy for them. And so if this is unhealthy for that individual.
So I was unhealthy.
Yeah. if this individual was, yes, it is unhealthy for me to continue to try and stay with you.
Knowing that I don't want to be married to you.
Right. Especially if you can't accept who I am.
Well, it's having two different goals.
I mean, that too.
Which is another reason why marriage is so distorted these days, because one person can have the motive of, I'm just marrying you so that my career looks better in the public eye.
Right, which is terrible.
Where the other person is like, but I'm in love with you.
Right.
And I literally want to be married to you.
Right.
So that's where the whole clash of marriage not being so great.
Right. I mean, definitely no rebuttal on in terms of that.
Well, I'm glad I grew up.
I'm glad you grew up as well.
Okay.
So, contract versus covenant. So, I'm gonna let y'all in on something.
Oh Lord, did we talk about this?
Nope. The reason why Tanya is making the point that she is making regarding that is because of the simple fact, and just correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I will.
That earlier on in our relationship, she wasn't trying to be nobody's wife of a pastor.
That's not true. I just was not trying to be nobody's wife, period. I don't care if you was a pastor, a contractor. It does not matter. I was not trying to be.
Such a big gap there, pastor and contractor.
I know. I was trying to give two different fields. I did not want to be married, period.
Okay. But, it's good thing that God knows your heart.
Well, a good thing that I
and
did.
Knows what you need.
Anyway.
And knows what you need.
The good thing is that I let go of me and followed in the footsteps God wanted me to.
That's good.
And when I stopped thinking about what I wanted, I started to understand more of what God wanted for me.
That's good.
And I like that a lot better than what I wanted.
That's good. That's really good. Why is that? This is just a question for you. Why is that so? Why do you believe it's so hard for people to get to that particular place?
Because of pain, because of fear, mainly because of fear, because of what can happen, the possibilities of what can happen instead of what is happening
and what will.
Right. Yeah. And what I was not seeing was what was happening in front of me, which was happiness and a change in me. But there was also that past of hurt that kind of dictated a lot.
Yeah, because you're guarded.
Very much so.
Yeah.
With great intention of not being placed in a position like that ever again.
Right.
Because I can see how women can have situations such as that from past relationships, and it determines if they do that again. And I can see how they make the decision not to do it again. Like, who want to put themselves in a place where they could potentially be hurt?
That's true.
But if you didn't take chances in life, you would never know how far you can go. So I took a chance.
And look what God did.
And I'm glad about it.
That's what's up. I'm glad you took a chance. So
you benefited from it, so I'm sure.
I did. I got 10 years to show it.
10 years in this thing.
Right. So make marriage great again.
Marriage great again.
Marriage has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
More ups than downs.
Yeah.
And you get the opportunity to do life as we put it. You get the opportunity to do life with your best friend, your confidant, your lover, all in one.
When I hear confidant, I think about Martin, that episode.
Which one?
With Gina. He told Gina, I got you a job, baby.
Which one?
When she was marrying the prince, the king. And she was his confidant.
Yeah. Didn't know what that meant until he told him.
She was like, boy. I'm sorry, y'all. We love Martin. He didn't know concubine. Concubine. That's what I was thinking about.
Right.
Concubine.
Like you don't get out of here. What you sign me up for?
Boy, how you gonna sell me?
Right.
But make marriage great again. Yeah. You don't have to determine if marriage is for you based on what you see in society these days, because if you do that, then you're not living your life the way God is intending for you to live it.
Right. You're definitely not.
Just because some people are unhappy in marriage, that does not mean that that's what's going to happen for you. And if you don't want to be married, that is your choice.
This is yours.
This is not us campaigning for you to get married, knowing that you don't want to be married. Because like we said, it's a choice.
It's a choice. And one of the worst things in the world that you could pressure somebody to do is to get married.
Yeah.
That don't
want to be married.
Don't want to be married and are not ready to be married.
Not large enough for marriage. So have that conversation if you are in a relationship, that if what marriage will look like for you, and if you even want to get married. If you start dating someone and y'all are getting serious, and for a fact that you don't want to be married, and they've been trying to bring up the conversation
have
of
that
marriage.
Have that conversation.
You may want to talk about it.
Yeah,
talk
please,
about it.
Please have that conversation. So
yeah,
that
don't
you
waste each other's time.
Save some time.
Yeah.
Save some time.
Yeah. So but that was a good conversation.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank you for joining with us today. Listen, have a great rest of your day, rest of your Saturday. Don't
enjoy
forget
your weekend.
Yeah, don't forget to head over to actingzactright.com. Check us out. Check us out on the socials this week as well. And drop us some comments.
Drop some comments. And like we said in the last one, if you have conversations, ideas that you would like for us to discuss, hey, put that in the comments too. Put
in comments. Send us an email.
Yeah.
Whichever one to be good. So until next time, we'll see y'all next week.
Next week.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.